Hey guys, ClimaxCombo here. I'm Checkers, and for this video, it's just gonna be all the rest of the leaks for LoveLive Superstars. By now, the set is already out, and we did record these a lot earlier, but been behind on editing, so we're just gonna wanted to get all the rest of the cards out in one video, so you guys can, look over it. And yeah, let's just get right into it.
Okay, guys, we have this 1.0 event. It's a backup event, and when you use it, you can ditch the RR00 Kanon that stock suicides. And if you do, you can choose one of your opponent's characters, and it gets -2 soul. So you're probably going to be running that Kanon. It's very good. The -2 soul is great to mitigate how much damage you're taking, especially late game, and this card's level 1, so you're going to be able to start using it at level 1. This event is super good. It's one of the better events that has been shown for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It's costless too, which is kind of insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
red is a good color.
Red's a good red, as we know, it's going to be a great color in Superstars. Yeah, this card is kind of bonkers, or kind of honkers. No. Okay.
No. Next up, we have this 1/1 event. Choose a music character in your waiting room, add it to your hand, and then choose one of your music characters on stage, and it gets the next 2 abilities. During the battle involving that card, your opponent can't use backups or events from hand. And when this character reverses something, you can send it to memory. So this event is kind of whatever on its own. It's just you're 1-for-1ing, paying 1, and not like the events and backups is nice later on maybe, but early on, especially at level 1, I don't think it's that crucial to be using it to stop backups to kill things. And I mean, the sending to memory is cool and all, but I don't think there's any effect that is a part of this card that's very crucial to the early game. So this event's kind of lackluster, I think. But
yeah, a little. It's all right. I mean, sending to memory is cool for like standby decks with Encore, but if you're not facing that, it's not that nice, and it does cost 1. It's an okay event, but I don't think there's anything too crazy going on here. All right, next up, we got more events. Another 1/0 red event. So when you play this card, you can look it up to 2 cards off the top of your deck and put them back on top in any order. Then you choose one of your characters, and it gains the following ability. When this card reverses its opponent by battle, choose one card in your waiting room, add it to your hand. This event, I'm not really feeling. The check top 2 is whatever. And then when you kill something, you get to add a character from your waiting room back to your hand. Honestly, it's like not that nice, especially if you don't kill something, then this card just kind of really sucks. I honestly if you want to salvage a card, I much rather use the event we saw just now, the 1/1 event, because it guarantees it, and you get 2 other effects on top of it, which I think is better than this. So I'm not really feeling this one.
Pretty lame.
I am, however, feeling this next one. This one is super cool. 2/2 event. Choose one of your double R Cuckoo brainstorms, the one we saw last week, and you may send it to memory. If you do, choose up to 2 3/2 Cuckoos from the trial deck in your hand and place them on stage on separate slots. And then you put this event to the bottom deck. Now, if you guys don't remember what this Cuckoo does, right here, 3/2 10k, 2 effects. When she's placed from hand to stage, you can heal. Second, combos with the pants from the trial deck. When it attacks, you put the bottom 4 cards of your opponent's library to the waiting room, and you deal X damage to the opponent, where X is the number of climax hit amongst the cards. So, I mean, that trial deck level 3 Cuckoo was all right. It's not amazing, but it's not like bad. But now that we know you can bring it out early with the 2/2 event, it becomes all that much cooler. Do keep in mind, you are playing them from your hand from the event, so you do heal 2 on play. And since you can, since you do it during your, your main phase, you can still play the pants that same turn and start using her effect, which is costless, which is also really nice. You are losing the brainstorm, but I mean, at that point she's done her job and you can easily salvage her, or if you have another one, just replace it. So I think this makes like a legitimate cuckoo deck. Oh, let's not forget, this is the event that the 1-0 double R cuckoo we saw from the very first week searches. So this makes it even all that much more playable because you can search this event, and yeah, like you can. So you just need one event too to kind of pop off. So I think with this event, a blue cuckoo deck is possible with just this event alone. I think that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Checkers?
It's pretty nice. Everything's getting like the synergy that it kind of needs to just have a usable deck.
For sure. I don't think this is going to be the greatest build Superstars can do, but I still think it's legitimate and maybe even like a cool budget deck that's in the works, because yeah, I think it's cool.
Dang. All right, guys, next up we have this 3-0 event. If you have a music character, your opponent reveals the top 3 cards of their deck, shuffles their deck, then sends the top X cards of their deck to clock. And X is the number of climaxes your opponent revealed. So this card seems pretty cool. It's there's so many events, but this one it's like in the right situation, your opponent likely might have 1 climax. Even if you just hit 1, it's 1 guaranteed damage. It sets you up for your turn, and if you hit more, that's just kind of insane, like game over for them. And it's just like, holy shit. It's costless too. Yellow is the golden color so far. Has potential.
The golden color, I like that. But I agree. It's costless, kind of insane. You can use it before your battle phase. Or your attack phase. Sorry, we're not playing Yu-Gi-Oh here. So you can it really can change up what you decide to do for the turn. Like Checker said, if you hit more than 1, that's kind of nice. For no cost, you dealt 2 guaranteed damage, and if you hit 3, your opponent might as well scoop. So definitely, I agree. Definitely has potential to be played. And maybe 2 of.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I would run 2 for sure.
Easy enough.
Yeah, easy to splash in for sure.
Okay, next up, this 1-0 blue event. If you don't have a music character, you can't play it. Look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose 1 music character. Show it to your opponent. Add it to your hand. Send the rest to waiting room. And the second effect, you choose a card from your waiting room and 1 card from your level zone and swap them. So this event is pretty whatever. You don't necessarily need this event in the blue decks. The level swap is cool to have, but as far as I can tell, it's not your only option. And the event milling through your deck, it's a nice effect to have. You can grab something later, you can shuffle it out of your hand, but you don't really have any easy ways to target this event. It's not like Hestia's Knife and Danmachi, and it just doesn't have as much utility as that card. So this effect on its own is not super great.
I agree. It's not a terrible card, but is it necessary? I'm not too sure. And yeah, we've seen Hazuki sending herself to memory, and Hazuki requiring experience, like the experience 2 and whatnot. But I mean, experience isn't that hard to achieve. So, and if you want to mill 4 to grab something, I mean, if you're playing blue, you could consider the 1-0 Cuckoo with the pants event that we just talked about that synergizes with the event. So, I mean, in that regard, you kind of achieve the same thing, but you don't take up deck slot. So, it's okay. I mean, you could consider running it, but I don't see any reason to make this like a staple for now. Next up, we got the box promos for the booster pack. So I'm actually really excited to get these. These are kind of cool. So there's 5 of them, of course, 1 for each girl. Kind of funny how it's all their child, like they're kids, but there was never a flashback with Cuckoo, so she's the only adult.
Oh,
yeah, but the rest of them are little kids. I thought that was funny. Anyways, First up, Kanon, baby girl, actually as a baby, 001K. 2 effects. Once played for hand to stage, reveal top card. If it's a music character, add it to your hand, discard a card. Second effect, at the start of climax phase, choose one of your characters. It gets plus 500 power for the turn. Definitely not a bad card. It's nothing crazy, nothing we haven't seen before, but it's solid. You know, check top, draw ditch, more power. It's all right. She's just a little weak at 1K, but it's not bad. I wouldn't mind getting 1 or 2 of these. Next up, Sumire, of course, with the amazing giant bug monster outfit. 2 effects. Once played from hand to stage, mill 1. If it's a music character, she gets plus 2K for the turn. When it attacks, mill 1. If it's a climax, draw a ditch. This one, I'm not feeling that much. If I wanted to gain power and I wanted to draw a ditch, I'd rather have like guaranteed ways of doing so. She starts milling you an additional 2. But if I want to mill like immediately, I'd rather play the event that we just saw, the 1-0 event. So I think the art's funny. I like it. I kind of wish this was a good card so you could run it, but I'm not really feeling this one. Next up, this Chichan. Finally, something we see that actually uses Recollection. So it's kind of cool to see. 1035. If you have a card in memory, she gets plus 2/5 power and hand encore. So she will be a 106K hand encore, which I think is pretty solid. Costless 6K is kind of nice. And she has hand encore, so she's going to stick around. You have a bunch of great zeros that send itself to memory, like the 00 Hazuki we saw from the first week. So I definitely think this one is playable. Next up, we got the 00 Cuckoo, 2 effects. The character across from her cannot move to another slot, and she's a suicider, a bot deck suicider. This one is okay. I mean, it guarantees you reversing runners. However, we already have a suicider with the 00 Kanon, which we know is an amazing card, and it's that much more amazing with the 1-0 red event we just talked about earlier. So I don't really see space for this Cuckoo, which is kind of a shame, but it's an okay card. I don't think I want to personally run it, but we'll see. And lastly, we got this Hazuki, Experience 2. When this attacks, if you have Experience 2, she gets plus 2K. And second effect is an act ability. So you can discard a climax. If you do, this card gets plus 1K power and the following ability. When this card's battle opponent is reversed, you may draw a card. So really weak, but on offense, she will be 6'5". Of course, if you have Experience 2, but I'm sure you will. So she'll be a 1065, which is a decent number. And you can discard a climax to give her all that much more power. Do keep in mind, it's not limited to once per turn. So if you're really screwed and you have 6 climaxes, you can ditch it all, give her all the power. You kill something and you draw 6. Still, even though you can do that, it'd be kind of cool. I'm not really feeling this card. Maybe if it was like 5 years ago, I'd be feeling it. But right now, maybe just one of, maybe. But I don't really see it being a staple. More of a tech card, I think.
Yours are pretty lackluster.
Yeah, definitely. I think I want maybe one of the then, because I'm getting 6 boxes. One then, maybe 2 to 3 Chichans, 1 Kanon, and 1 Sumire. I don't really want any of the Cuckoos. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5, 6. Maybe one of the Sumire because it's funny. But yeah, these promos, they're whatever. They're not super cool like the HoloLive ones.
Okay, next couple cards are the girls from Sunny Passion. They work with each other. The first one, the 2-1 Mao, if you have the 2-1 Yuna in the front row, she gets 4K power, so she's 10-5 base. And when she's played on stage, you can ditch a music character and choose the 2-1 Yuna from your waiting room and place it on stage in any slot. So you bring her out during your main phase. And as far as the 2-1 Yuna is concerned, during your turn, and you have the 2-1 Mao from before, and it's in the front row, she gets 4K power, so 11-5 only during your turn. And at the start of your opponent's attack phase, you can choose the 2-1 Mao and herself, stand them, and swap their positions. So they're kind of, tagging in for each other. The 2-1 brings out the Yuna to get some smack in on your turn, and then they swap each other. It's it's interesting, but it's not very useful, not very practical, since these level 2s, aren't that great. They're only 1 soul. 11k, 10-5, 11-5 is decent power, but you'd honestly rather play a level 3 that comes out early, and especially since the set has a really strong level 3 that comes out early, it's like there's really no reason to use this combo.
Yeah, I'd rather just play Chichan and start smacking you, and she has an Encore. And she's 10-5 base. So, and she heals. So, I mean, why not, right? And to make this more consistent, you probably have to be running at least 2 of each of these. And I'd rather not waste deck spot on that. So, yeah, I don't think anyone's disappointed, really.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, we got the Goon Squad 0-0. We got the 3 girls. It's kind of funny that they got their own card. Yai, Nanami, and Kokono. I mean, I don't think even Bushiroad knew their names until they made the card. 1k power, 2 effects. When a climax is placed on your opponent's climax area, you can send this card to stock. Second effect, Brainstorm, pay 1, mill 4. For every climax you hit, look at top 3, choose 1, add it to your hand, send the rest to waiting room, and then discard 1 card. This Brainstorm is actually not bad. It's a spammable Brainstorm, and every time you hit, you look at top 3, add 1, you ditch 1. So it's like a mill 7 if you do hit 1 climax, which is really nice. And since it's spammable, it gets all that much. You could go through your deck really fast. And when your opponent decides to play a climax, you can send it to stock. So I don't think this card's actually bad. If you want a spammable Brainstorm, I think this card can really do the job. I think you can definitely consider one of these if you want. It's just kind of a shame it's the Goon Squad. I mean, I'd rather just have like a Kanon or any of the Leilla girls. What do you think, Checkers?
That's everything.
Yep. Next up, though, we got the director, and she's actually kind of nice. 0035, common, 2 effects. All your opponent's characters gain pay 2 Encore, so it's a demerit. Second effect, pay 1, send her to waiting room. If you do, look at top 4 cards of your deck, choose 1 music character, add it to your hand, the rest go to waiting room. So pretty the second effect, standard. We've seen it. Really good effect. She's big body at 3-5. The demerit, not a big deal. So overall, big body, great effect. Demerit's not even that bad. It's common. This card is so good. And just for, I mean, it's a common. It's crazy.
Next up, the 0-0 Cuckoo. She has a continuous effect. During your turn, if you have a card in memory, all of your other music characters get plus 1k. And she has 2 startups. The first one, rest her. As long as there's no marker underneath her, you can choose a music character from your waiting room and place it underneath face up as a marker. And the second startup, send 1 marker under her to the waiting room, rest her, and choose one of your other cuckoos and return it to hand. So this card is pretty whatever. I mean, the memory is easy to do. There's a lot of cards that go to memory, so you'll get the 1k, but it's only during your turn. And the marker's cool. I mean, you choose what the marker is, you get a compress, but the bouncing your own cuckoo back to your hand doesn't really seem that useful. There's no cuckoos, I think, that we've seen with any great on-play effects that you'd want to use again. So this card, meh.
If anything, it's a 1k global with a free compress, but I think the back row, there's a lot of good back row cards you could be running in Superstars. So, I mean, we know the Cuckoo deck is a viable option. So we'll see. We'll see what else the set holds for Cuckoo. So the better Cuckoo cards there are, the better this card becomes. But as of right now, it's okay.
Next up, 2-1 Sumire. It's a backup, 2,500 power. And when you use the backup, you can pay 1, discard a card, and send one of your characters to the waiting room. And choose one of your opponent's characters whose level is higher than your opponent's level, send it to stock, then put the bottom card of the opponent's stock to the waiting room. A very standard anti-change card, anti-change backup. It's always useful. I mean, there's not much to say about these. It's nice to have one in your deck. Can be really good against some decks. Most decks, honestly.
Most decks, yeah.
Kind of just, if your set has it, you just want to run it.
at worst, it's a 2/5 backup, right? And
Mhm.
at best, you kill one of your opponent's character, and it goes to stock, so they can't even hand encore. So like, I don't know, Superstar Mirror Match by Chichan,
Damn.
Lucia, 3/2 HoloLive, bye. So it's good. Definitely run it. And lastly, we got 2/1 Kanon. 2 effects. First effect, for each of your other music characters, she gets plus 1k. Second effect, combos with this yellow stock soul here. Beautiful art on the triple R version. I love it. At the end of this card's attack, if you have that climax in your climax area, and you have 4 or more other music characters, choose up to 1 character in your waiting room, add it to your hand, then choose up to 1 character in your waiting room and send it to stock. So, it's okay. Full field, she's a 2/1 10k, which isn't too bad. And at the end of her attack, you pretty much salvage a character and you get a free stock, so she pays for herself. I mean, it's all right. Level 2s are always kind of weird, and this combo isn't strong enough for you to justify running this level 2. And there's so much good climax combos in yellow for superstars, so it's not worth making space just for this climax combo. It's not good enough. But whatever.
Next up, we have the 0/0 Chichan. Your other music character in the front row center slot gain hand encore, and when you play a climax, you can pay 1 to look at the top look at the top 4 cards of your deck. Choose a character with Chichan in the name or the 1/1 red event from earlier. It's pretty whatever. You're not gonna get much use out of this card, honestly. It's the first effect is, I guess it's cool, but it's not something you want to play this card for. And definitely, if you're not full of other Chichans or the 1/1 events, like this card is just pretty specific in its usefulness.
I agree. This is pretty much just for Chichan waifu deck. If you're gonna make one, go for it. If not, of course, it's bad. Of course, I guess Bushiroad's gonna make one viable since they printed this card. So yeah, that's it really.
All right, this 3/2 Hazuki. During your turn, for each of your other music characters, she gets 500 power. And on play or by change, we don't know what the change is, but you can ditch a card, put the top card of your clock into stock. Pretty lame, pretty whatever. Only 12k on your turn. Just kind of, it's whatever. Stock heal is nice, but you're not getting that much out of this card, so it's kind of basic.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know how it changes, but even if the change is really lenient, or the change has to be super lenient for this card to be playable, right? It's kind of feels like a trial deck card. It's literally just 12k on offense and ditch for 1 from clock to stock. That's not really good enough nowadays. So unfortunate. Don't really see this card being that good as of right now. Next up, we got the 1/0 Sumire, the non-fiction outfit. Unfortunately, this card is not that nice, even though it's kind of her song. I was kind of hoping she would get a really nice art and a climax combo with this song, because that episode was cool and that song is dope. 2 effects. First effect, during your turn, she gets plus 1k, so she's 5/5. Combos with a standby here, so at least we know standby is an option in Superstars. When this attacks, you can pay cost, which is send a standby from your climax area to the waiting room. If you do, choose the 1/0 red event we saw earlier and in your waiting room. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. So next up, we got this 1/045 Sumire, combos with a standby. 2 effects. During your turn, she gets plus 1k power. Second effect, when this attacks, you can pay cost, which is send a standby climax from your climax area to the waiting room. If you do, choose up to 1 character or the 1/0 red event we saw earlier last week in your waiting room, add it to your hand. Not that great, honestly. I don't know why they made her only 5/5 on offense. I don't know why they couldn't just make her 5/5 all the time. The climax combo, you can only do once. You can't even stack multiple of it because you gotta send it from your climax area to the waiting room for it to go off. The climax combo itself is decent, but the fact that you can't stack multiple of these like a normal combo, I don't really understand why they made this event not so good. So not feeling this event or not feeling the combo. The event, like we said, is not that cool. And overall, kind of a shame. The standby art is super cool, but not feeling this one. Next up, we got this Kanon, which is actually kind of funny. 3/2/9/5 power, 2 soul. If you have 4 more music characters on your field, she gets -1 level. And when she's played from hand to stage until the end of your opponent's next turn, she gets plus 2,500 power and bodyguard, baby.
Let's go.
It's funny. I mean, when you play from hand to stage, and you can play it at level 2, of course, she will be 3/2/12k with bodyguard. So your opponent has to ramp into her. But nowadays, being 12k on level 2 isn't the scariest thing ever. I mean, your opponent is probably going to be playing level 3 at level 2 as well to run over this Kanon. And this Kanon doesn't have any additional effects, no game ending effects, no game ending effects, no healing. So it's only good at level 2. And I think that's a little too specific. And there's so many great 3s in superstars. I just much rather be running those. I mean, it has the obvious synergy with Chi-chan, I guess, if she's in the center because of the bodyguard requirement. She gets hand encore. But I mean, even then, whoop-de-doo. If you kill her, she loses the bodyguard effect anyway. So what's the point? So I like the idea, but I don't think it's good enough. Next up, we got the last card, 3/2 Cuckoo, 10k. When displaced from hand to stage, choose up to 3 cards in your opponent's waiting room, and they put it back into their deck. I mean, decompression effect is always cool. However, it's only kind of cool when it's on an event or a ClimaxCombo. As an on-play and the only on-play effect, I don't think it's that nice. If she healed and did that, or like on-play burn 1 and do that, that'd be kind of cool. But because that is her only effect, I think that really lowers the playability of this card. I guess you can use it with the 0/0 Cuckoo we saw earlier, and then you play her, and then they send 3 back, and then you bounce her back, and you send 6 cards. You send 6 climaxes, and then you use the level 3 Cuckoo from the trial deck, and then you send bottom 4. No, I'm just kidding. I guess you can do that, but I don't recommend it. I don't think it's good enough. Even in the Cuckoo waifu deck, I would not run this.
Okay, guys, next up we have the 0/0 Sumire. On play, you can discard a card to choose a level X or lower music character from your waiting room and add it to hand, and X is equal to the number of level 3 Sumires, the double R that combos with the choice, the character herself, in your waiting room. And her other effect is she's a stock suicider for level 0. This card's pretty cool, pretty useful. I mean, both effects are great. Especially, I mean, definitely you're going to be running her with the level 3 Sumire, because otherwise 500 stock suiciders lame. But she's just a great card, and the SR art is great.
Agreed.
You definitely want this.
Agreed. Only complaint is I wish it wasn't stock suicider, because in yellow you already got the 0/0 Kanon. That's a stock suicider, and you're going to be running 4 of that. So how many stock suiciders do you need,
So, never have enough.
I think because of that, you might just be running 2 of these. I mean, if they had a second effect, I wish it was just like on play, check top, or on play, give something 1k. I think that would have been cooler, but unfortunately, it's not. But oh well, love the SR art. So I definitely think it's playable for sure.
Next up, we have this 1/0 Chi-chan. During your turn, she gets 3k power, so 6/5 during your turn. And when she reverses a character, you can choose the 1/1 red event from your hand. As long as you meet the level and color requirement, you can play it without paying for cost. It's kind of lame. I mean, she's yellow, the event's red. In those situations where you clock up to level 1 and you're gonna put yellow in your level zone, you're not gonna have red to play this anyways, so it can be inconsistent sometimes. And without that, it's just kind of whatever. That event is just, it's okay, but I don't know. There's not much usefulness out of this combo.
I like the attempt, but it could have been executed a little better. But Chi-chan waifu deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's it, really. Ooh, next one. This card. Now, this is a card I'm excited for. 1145 Kanon. 2 effects. First effect, all your 0/0 Kanon stock suiciders, the yellow one, in your hand gains pay 1. It's a 2/5 backup. And second effect, it's a level assist in front. I think this card is super cool. The fact that you're gonna be running those 0/0 Kanons in like pretty much every superstar build as a given, I think, makes this card super playable. You're going to be running 4 of that really amazing card, and the fact that it can be a 2/5 backup when needed makes it all that much better. And she's a level assist, which is also very nice. And the SR art is super cool. I don't really like the normal art, I'm not gonna lie, but overall super good. I mean, you're gonna be running the 0/0 Kanon anyways. The event we saw earlier last week, we think it's really strong, and this on top of it just makes it all that much more stronger. So I really like this card. I think it's super good.
Bushiroad, we're tired of people not using backups.
I know, right?
It's literally like you don't even need to. You have 2/5 backups now whenever you want.
You're gonna have the Sumire backup, these 4 2/5 backups, and you're gonna have the 1/0 red event backup and superstars in the red build. That's tight. We'll see. But I'm actually really excited for this card. I love it. Love the idea. Next up, 0/0 Hazuki. 500 power, 2 effects. When it's played from hand to stage, choose 1 card in your waiting room and 1 card in your level zone. Swap them. Second effect, when it's played from hand to stage, discard a climax. If you do, salvage a music character. Pretty standard stuff. It's a shame she's only 500 power, so she's really weak. The SR art is super cute from her song. It's okay. I mean, the second effect alone is nice. Just discarding a climax is, salvage character. If you want to run it, go for it. If not, not a big deal. Mm-hmm. And if you're having real difficulties hitting experience, she'll do the job for you. So good card. It's okay. Next up, we got this 1/0 Cuckoo. This card's kind of cool. 2 effects. When it's played from hand to stage, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a music character, choose one of your characters, gets plus 2k power. Second effect, when it attacks, all of your characters gain the following ability until the end of the turn, where when this card trigger check reveals a climax, you can pay cost, which is 1. If you do, get a blind stock, choose one of your characters, it gets plus 2k power for the turn. I don't think this card's that bad. She's really weak at 3/5, which is kind of a shame. Kind of wish she was 4/5. Oh well, but the on play, you can even give it to herself if needed, so she'll be a 5/5. That second effect is pretty cool. You can kind of get a clean stock because if you, of course, attack with her first, all your characters, you can just pay 1 to pay out the climax that you immediately use or you hit. Of course, it kind of sucks you get a blind stock out of it, but I guess the balance is you give another character another 2k for the turn. So this card can kind of start giving a lot of power out of nowhere. And it's a Cuckoo, and her on play does give power, so you can actually use it with the 1/0 Cuckoo we saw last week that, bounces a Cuckoo from your hand. And when you play the first Cuckoo and the music, it guarantees the second Cuckoo. So I think in that regard, it's kind of cool. So this card, I don't think it's terrible. Definitely has a lot of value in the Cuckoo deck. But as a standalone tech card in blue, I think it's also legit as well. Definitely, I think you could consider running 2 if you are running blue in your Superstars deck.
First off, this 1/0 Chichan. Accelerate. Put 2 music characters from your waiting room to the bottom of your clock in any order. At the start of your climax phase, you can do that. And this card has to be in the front row. You choose one of your music characters in the waiting room whose level is equal to your level, and then place it on stage in any slot. This card's pretty weird and doesn't seem very good. Taking 2 damage to kind of bring out a strong character, I guess, later on in the game is the only time it seems worth it. But even then, it's not worth it.
Yeah, at that point, do you really want to be taking 2 damage to bring out something? I think, after we go over the next card, it's clear that Chichan is supposed to be a standby deck. So with a standby deck, you're going to be running a lot of high cost cards that do want to come out. Mm-hmm. But even then, I mean, and why is Chichan so weak? Why is she 4/5? Like, couldn't she just be 5k? I don't know. But I mean, I think we can agree, right? Not that great. I guess in the Chichan deck you can run it, but for like the optimal build, one can say, I don't see it being used. But Okay. Yeah, that's it for that. I mean, yeah, go. Yeah, it's no good.
Next up, 3-2 Chichan, 10K, and 500 power.
Oh.
First effect, all your other characters, music characters, get plus 1500 power. And her second effect is a climax combo with the standby. It's only during your climax phase. When she's placed on the stage by that standby, you can pay 1, send the standby climax to your waiting room. You can stand her, and all your characters get plus 500 power, and the ability of when the battle opponent of this is reversed, you can send that character to the top of your opponent's deck. Pretty weird card, and not very viable because you can only get 1 climax combo with this. So it's like, it's such a waste of a card, honestly. I mean, the power is cool, I guess, in a standby deck, but it just is not very impressive, honestly.
Yeah, a bit disappointing. I mean, it's technically like 2K boost since Chi-chan's 15, and then her effect is, or the combo is only a measly 500. I mean, you don't, like Checker said, only 1 use because you got to kill the climax, and sending something to top deck is not that scary. If anything, it just kind of messes with other standbys deck or any deck that run Encore because it's like all anti-Encore, which is kind of nice. Pushes it a little bit of damage. I think the combo is okay at level 2, but at level 3, you much rather be using something stronger, in my opinion. I mean, good attempt, but as a standalone card, not very nice.
Weak.
Poor Chi-chan, such a shame. Oh well, we got we got other LoveLive decks if you want to play standby, but the art's lovely on this standby. Next up, this day's got definitely a bit more spice. First up, though, we got 2-2 Sumire, 6K, 2 soul, fairly standard card. She gets plus 1K for each of your other music characters, so 10K with a full field, and she has hand encore. I mean, it's just good for standby decks. Sits around, smacks up, big power. That's it. So next up, we got this amazing, super cool Hazuki, 3-2, 10-5. Climax combo with this amazing pants. That sounds weird, amazing pants. Anyways, on attack, pay 1. If you have experience 6, she gets plus 3K for the turn, and you can choose to do one of the following 2 effects. First effect, choose 2 cards in your clock, send them to waiting room, or deal 3 damage to your opponent. Super cool, but there's actually another Hazuki that synergizes with this that makes this card even cooler. I don't think it was officially leaked by Bushiroad, but at the time of this recording, this whole set's out. So, boom, right here. 3-2. 3-2 9K Hazuki. She has experience. If you have 2 or more yellow Hazuki, the one that really sucks that we saw last week, and then that Hazuki we just talked about, the other 3-2, she gets -1 level in hand. Second effect, she gets 2 trigger checks. I don't know why that's even there. And lastly, she has a change at the start of your climax phase. You can either change into the 3-2 Hazuki yellow or the 3-2 blue Hazuki in your level up area, and you swap them, and the new character comes on its stand. So I think this is really cool. That really increases the playability of this 3-2 10-5 Hazuki, because she can come out at level 2 and you can actually start burning 3 or healing 2, and you can choose any of the 2 cards, which is actually very nice. Yeah, so I think that's a lot of fun. Of course, you can't change it to the yellow Hazuki, but kind of like we talked about last week, that yellow Hazuki is not so nice. So definitely you'll be opting to go into the blue Hazuki. You could technically only do this once, because once you swap, you lose the level requirements to bring out the other 3-2 blue Hazuki that changes. But if you use one of those cards, like the event that swaps a card in your level up area with a card in your waiting room, you can do it again, actually. So, I think it's really cool. I think just getting 1 use of this Hazuki is kind of scary. And this card's not even that bad to use at level 3. I mean, just on attack, pay 1 to burn 3. That's a lot of damage. Or healing 2, that's a lot of healing. So really cool Hazuki, really exciting. Definitely makes like a Hazuki deck possible, which
I think Checkers is kind of excited for. Yes. So overall, just really cool, a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, you have anything to say, my friend?
I'm happy.
He's happy.
I'm glad.
But yeah, I'm really excited for this. And this day we got some not so nice cards. We got this 2155 Cuckoo. She's a common. 2 effects. First effect, she gets plus 2500 for each of your opponent's back row character. So if they have 2, she'll get plus 5k, so she'll be 10-5. ClimaxCombo with the wind trigger here. At the end of her attack, if you have the wind trigger out, choose another, and you have another music character, middle top 2, then choose up to 1 level X or lower music character from your waiting room, add it to your hand. Then choose up to 1 music character in your waiting room, send it to stock. X equals the sum of levels of cards milled by this effect. Honestly, kind of dumb. The combos with the wind trigger, which is kind of dated at this point. If you want to, mill 2 and salvage something, you can just use the really good Wano Hazuki RR yellow that we've already seen. Honestly, there's really no point in this Cuckoo. It's just dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Next up, we got this not so nice Chi-chan as well. 2 effects. Oh, sorry, she's 2155, 2 soul, so busted. With this attacks, this gets power plus X, and X equals to the number of music characters you have times 1500. So with the full field, she's gonna be big body, but it's only on attack. Second effect, climax combos with this choice. When she reverses something with the choice, choose up to X cards in your opponent's waiting room, and your opponent shuffles them back to the deck. X equals the number of music characters you have. So it's like a free decompression thing. It's a little slow though. Unfortunately, it's like after her attack. I think it would have been kind of neat if it was just when you play the climax, so that way when you have 3 Chi-chans, you can shuffle 15 cards back.
Jesus.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool, huh? But unfortunately, it's after her attack, and it does require a climax combo, and it's in yellow, and it's choice. I mean, by now we all know there's so many good choice combos you can be running in LoveLive Superstars. There's really no need for this. I mean, I guess good try, but it's not really hitting. It's not doing anything for me. Anything to add, Checkers?
Ghetto Russia ain't cool.
Yep. And that's it. And last day, like you always, they're going to show all the beautiful signed cards in the set. This is the A and B cards, lovely cards, all really good. And that's it for Superstars. What do you think about the set, Checkers?
It's cool. I'm glad for you. Seems like it'll be probably fairly strong. We'll have to wait and see on that note how the actual decks play out. But it's cool. I mean, the whole set's out at this point, and I'm sure you've already been thinking of stuff.
I've been thinking about a lot of stuff, my friend. But yeah, I've been actually thinking a lot about this set. It keeps me up at night. But there's a lot of builds I think you can go to. I think the 2 strongest possible builds is like a choice build with the 3/2 Kanon Exodia card that works, synergizes with all the other 4 girls. I think that's build has a chance to be one of the strongest builds. You could run like a couple choice, maybe some standby to bring them out early. I think that's viable. 8 choice or 4 choice, 4 standby, 6 choice, 2 standby. We'll see. I think that's going to be a really strong build. Another build I think is going to be really strong is the one with the Kanon 3/2 9K, the red one, combos with the gate. Either that one's going to be an 8 gate deck, or I think like a choice gate deck. We'll see, but I think those 2 builds are probably going to be one of the 2 strongest builds. We'll have to see, or they might just be like equally as strong. We'll see. The other decks, I mean, we've talked about the Chi-chan standby deck. I don't think that deck's going to be really good. Maybe I'll just make it to F around if I have a couple extra cards running around. We'll see. The Hazuki deck, I think, can be fairly legit. If anything, it's not bad. But I guess out of all the waifu decks, I think the Cuckoo one is probably going to be the best. I think that event to bring out the TD Cuckoos is actually kind of legit. So probably the Cuckoo is probably the 3rd best build. I think the Hazuki the 4th, and lastly the Chi-chan. But we'll see. Those are just off the top of my head. Of course, look forward to a lot of Superstars coming soon. And yeah, I got my boxes. They should be in sometimes next week. So we're hoping you're looking forward to that as well. And
That's
I guess
gonna be it.
that's it, guys. And we'll catch you in the next set, whatever we're excited for, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And yep. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Peace out.